Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy JJ. Play here. We're back with another video. We're gonna be reacting to an Instagram post by 8 at the Table. It says wife hides 47,000 in savings while husband struggling with 2 jobs. How do you do that? Let's look at the bright side. She can save money. I don't know if there's anything other bright. She's disciplined, because for you to save 47,000 and watch your man struggle and you're not splurging on yourself, you gotta be doing something right. Just not right by your man. That's all it is. But we're gonna be reacting to this. If you do, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into this video.
Am I the asshole for not giving my husband my escape money when I saw that we are financially we were financially struggling? I'm a
Escape money? What is escape money? Where are you escaping to?
34-year-old female, have recently ran into a situation with my husband, who's a 37-year-old male, and I'm curious about if I am the asshole here or not.
You're 10 years old. You was on this earth for a decade before he was even born, and you treating him like he's 37. Like 37 is when you get close to your peak, like where you start going crazy and working hard. Like you about to be 40. You're 47, whatever, and he's 37. I think that's her age.
So me and my husband have been together for 8 years, married for 7. When I got married, my mother came to me privately and talked about setting aside money as a rainy day escape fund if worse came to worse. My husband has never showed any signs of being dangerous and rarely even gets upset, but the way my mother talked about it, it seemed like a no-brainer to have. When me and my husband, I really don't like that.
This is killing me already, because like you saying the way your mom's talking about, like, just think, here's the thing. There's a thing called self-reflection, self-evaluation that people need to understand. And if she took the time to, like, you know, write down this and then actually read over it, you could just make some judgment yourself, some self-reflection yourself. Like, he's not abusive, he's not showing any ill intent, but your mom, that's another problem that families be having. I'm gonna say specifically Black families, because I don't know too much about any other culture, but we be passing down generational problems and ideas. Like, just because I was listening to this podcast, he was like, just because that's your perception and that's your problem doesn't mean it has to be my perception and my problem also. Like, that's just how the cookie crumbled for you. That doesn't mean it's going to be the same for me. Like, I respect the thought of it, but the execution of it, as if, oh, I need to say what business because I need to leave him, it sounds bad.
When my husband and I got together, we agreed I would be a stay-at-home wife. We are both child-free, so that was never a concern. My husband made a comfortable mid-six-figure salary. All was good until about 2 years ago. He was injured at work in a near-fatal accident. Between hospital bills and a lawsuit that we lost that ate up nearly all of our savings, I took a part-time job while my husband was recovering. But when he fully recovered, we transitioned back into me being unemployed, as my husband insisted that it was his role to provide. He currently is working 2 full-time jobs and Ubers on his off days to keep us afloat. Here is where I might be the asshole.
You've been the asshole this entire time. You might be, and this is where it becomes, no, you've been it this entire time, because you could have been, you're supposed to be supporting him through thick and thin and everything. I applaud her for getting a job while he was recovering, you know, but there's just so much more you can do. You know, like my mom always told me, she was like if you could make it to where the woman can't work, good. But, you know, my mom, she loved making her own money, even if she didn't have to work. I'm pretty sure if she didn't have to work in her 30s or whatever, she probably still would, because she wanted to make her own money. You know, I feel like in 3, 4, 5 years, if I give her 100,000, I mean, she's getting up there, so she'll probably retire. But no, you say this 5 years ago, she probably still working just so she could make her own money, have something to do. Maybe you start a business that's making your own money.
Do all of the expense management and have continued to put money into my escape account, although I significantly decreased from $750 a month to just $200 a month. My husband came home exhausted one night and asked about downsizing because the stress of work was going to kill him.
You was putting $750. Where is she getting this money from? Is he giving her this money? Depends on how it goes. Is he taking care of her like a child? Because where are you getting $750, almost $1,000 a month to put into savings?
I told him downsizing would not be an option, as I had spent many years making our house a home, and offered to go back to work. He tried to be nice, but basically told me that me going back to work wouldn't make enough. After an argument, my husband went through our finances to see where we could cut back. He was confused when he saw that I had regular occurring withdrawals leading back years and asked me about it. I broke down and revealed my money to him,
My money.
which now sits at about 47,000. After I told him all this, he just broke down sobbing. His point of view is that I treated him like a predator and hid money from him for years, even when he was at his lowest. I told him that the money was a precaution.
That's sad. You gotta go. I don't know if you can forgive, but I don't know if you can continue to build on somebody like that to where y'all have a joint account. We're looking at our finances, or we're looking at whoever's finances, and you see she's been pulling money, little bitty pieces of money, to where it doesn't look like much for it. So you're a stay-at-home wife and he's paying for everything. What are you saving for? A precaution? Just in case I need to leave you, just in case you might hurt me. Why would you marry him? Why would you be together for 7-8 years and he hasn't shown a single sign of anything negative, and you telling me you taking a precaution? And this doesn't look good, because for all the people out there that actually do end up leaving their woman and their woman have nothing because they're a stay-at-home wife. But like, you could have been doing something you could be a stay-at-home wife and still like do something like a business, maybe even a podcast where you just, a blog maybe. But this is just such a nasty thing to do.
I would have taken with any partner and not specific to him. He left the house to stay with his brother and said, I heard him on every possible level, but my mom says this is exactly what the money is for and should bail now.
I fucking hate them.
That's messed up.
I hate all of them. Anyone like that, I dislike you.
I strongly dislike you. And her mom's still in her ear 8 years later, 9 years later, saying, hey, this is your perfect opportunity. Get up out of there. Hey, he been paying everything and you've been slowly taking money out. This is your chance, right? He's not going to hit you, so you don't got to worry about that. But, you going to hurt him. But don't think about him. You got to think about yourself, because it's not about him. He's just a man. He could bounce back. Would they be saying, oh, I'm a man, it's okay? Like, bro, no.
Despise you. You shouldn't be married.
You should
I
not.
think it was selfish. I think that's extremely selfish.
That's beyond selfish. That's an understatement.
Selfish.
Okay, go ahead.
She keeps saying my escape, my
Yeah.
money,
Yeah.
my. It sounds like she's getting terrible information from her mother, who probably went through something with her ex or in her past. And she's already said that he wasn't abusive or he wasn't dangerous. So
That was never a
Yeah.
marriage
Can I
based
play
off
devil's
love.
advocate
No,
real
you
quick
can't.
before we start getting on the same page on the couch?
No,
My
there's no need to play
no,
devil's
okay.
advocate.
Well, my only statement in playing devil's advocate is I think that her mom gave her that advice because her husband insisted that she was a stay-at-home wife, which means she would have. I mean, her money would have come from him, his money, her money, or whatever. But in the case that they got divorced, I don't know what their divorce agreement or if she signed a prenup or anything like that.
Okay, and before she even say anything, you do not know. So why are you going to the worst of the worst? Like, I was listening to this podcast and the dude was like, why are you perceiving a threat that is not there? There is no threat. And yes, there's a good and bad time to perceive threats to protect yourself and your family, and you can go home at the end of the day. But in a situation like this, you don't know her situation, because I'm sure if she did sign a prenup, she did it out of love because of whatever. But it sounded like the man was at least a nice man, and you want to play quote unquote devil's advocate and try to give excuses on why her behavior is okay, why her decision is okay. There is no okay in this situation. We're not talking about, oh, if he was abusive. No, he's not abusive. He's not none of that. So we're talking about what there is. There's cards on the table. Let's play with those cards. Don't try to add extra cards into it and talk about what if this, what if that. You don't know. So don't even do that. Just go with what you have.
That I don't know, but I think that was just advice so that she'd have something
covered.
for herself. Because
Which
you
is
can't just
understandable,
like
too.
be at home twiddling your finger.
Okay, stay-at-home wife. Okay, I don't know why. Stay-at-home mom is the only thing that processed in my head. She don't got no kids. It's just stay-at-home wife. But it's like, if you're so scared to have some savings and some backup money, why would you take the money from him? You're taking his money and making it, I mean, it's their money to him, but let's just take away that. She's taking his money, which would be their money, and using it for yourself. He's working these hours to put money into our account, and you're taking money from our account and trying to make it your own. When you could just be like, hey, I want to be a stay-at-home wife, but I want to try to do something where I'm making money from home to then help us both out and to elevate our life and elevate our whatever in the situation. But she didn't do that because she didn't have to do that. maybe she didn't even think about doing that, and now she's just in a terrible situation.
Is
Absolutely.
just being like, okay, well, I can only get money if he gets money. And if he's not getting money, then I don't have shit to do.
Well, 6 out of the 8 years that they were together, he was making mid 6 figures.
Right.
Am I the asshole for not giving my
I'm gonna go and see how long that video is. Actually, let's watch the rest of this.
8 years that they were together, he was making mid 6 figures.
Right.
Correct? Right? So he's making money. Now, it's one thing to, have a conversation with your significant other, especially when you're married, and say, hey, I would like to have X amount to do whatever it is I want to do. Right? If I'm going to be a stay-at-home wife and you're going to be the one making all the money, I need to have access to this amount of funds so I can have fun doing my extracurricular activities. Therefore, I don't have to feel as if I'm just tied to the house. And I have the opportunity to then grow and start whatever business endeavors that I may want with the money that I do get. That's entirely different.
That is entirely different, and that's a good point that he made. Like, I'm sure if she's a stay-at-home wife, I'm pretty sure she's just not staying at home. I'm pretty sure she's able to do her extracurricular activities, and that's it. But this communication that goes along with it, he's preaching good communication. He's preaching great communication, where it's like, you want this X amount of money a month for your personal self? Say that. You want this money to put into a savings? Say that. Just say it.
When you're taking money
That's
and
stealing.
unknowingly, right? There's no conversation within you two.
It's not unknowing.
Well, he didn't know. She ran all the finances, and he had to find out when he actually had to look
That's
back
stealing.
at. Yeah,
That's
you
stealing.
basically was.
That's wolf.
So like you're taking the money without your significant other knowing on a monthly basis for years. And not only did you do that, when times actually got rough,
That's where it's a problem.
right? You would rather try to work than try to reveal. And that's where I really have an issue, because now I know it was never for us. It was only for you. And
It wasn't. Well, she said that. She said, this is my escape fund. So the savings wasn't for like a rainy day for them. It was her escape if I ever needed
Just in
money
case.
for
I
myself.
just hate that it's called escape though, because
I mean, that's what she called
It
it.
is a fucking escape.
Because what are we doing then? Like, are we really in a marriage that's for the right reasons? Because if I have to have an
You ever had
I
your
can see the
parents tell you
saving.
that you need Vex money?
Absolutely.
When you leave the house, you need some Vex money.
Yeah,
No matter if you go out
absolutely.
with your friends, you go out with your man. If you need to get out of there, you need to have some money
My
on
grandmother always tells me, like, when I'm
you. Same thing.
dating, like, make sure you take care of your.
But then you gotta understand, that's a sacrifice you're taking when you're going to be a stay-at-home wife with no job. You could be a stay-at-home wife with a job, a stay-at-home wife with a business, but you're a stay-at-home wife with no job. I never heard this Vex money thing, but you gotta think about it. You can't use that as an option when she's choosing to not work. Yes, he's insisting like, hey, you don't have to work, but there's something that you can do. If you feel like you need to have I need my own little money just in case for a rainy day, or just in case I need to get out of here, I need my own money. That's not your cue to then go take our money to then make it your own money. Go get your own money somehow, some way at home. I'm sure you're doing your extracurricular activities. You out partying, or you might go to the bar or coffee shop. You might go do some cat yoga with your friends or whatever. That's the money you could be saving up. But again, you could just communicate that you need this. You don't have to say why, I guess. I mean, you're in a marriage, so.
yourself. I mean, not dating, but when I was whatever, mind your business. But in situations, I've always been told to save money, and I did regret the time where I didn't. But I think in a marriage, it's different. I wasn't married, so in a marriage, I feel like your struggle is my struggle. Whatever you're going through, I should be able to help out in the situation, or like pick up where you can't at the time. So the fact that, okay, she did go to work and help with the bills, but at the same time, she did pick up and help with and work when she could. But I just feel like a secret account. She didn't. I thought
No,
she
she
did.
said she's a
job when-
part-time job
Oh, yeah,
until
she
he
got the
got the
part-time
two
job.
And then
jobs.
she offered another
you're not
part-time
listening.
job when he said, hey, let's downsize.
Yeah.
And she said it wasn't an
But I
option.
think when she
No,
said
he did.
No,
But
he
he's-
said, let's downsize. She said it's not an
Let's
option.
downsize.
Oh, he told her not to
So
work.
she
and
wasn't
tried
willing
get another
to.
job.
She wasn't really willing to change her lifestyle and how she was living, and I think most of everything she did was selfish.
So I actually like the fact that you brought that up because well, and I'm not advocating for what you did, but
Me neither. Just playing
important.
devil's advocate. That's what I
You
did.
don't have to do
it's
that.
important.
Before y'all
You choosing to do that. You didn't have to do that.
come, I know y'all like to tussle.
It is important.
Blood is hot.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
It's important for you to have your own money in some form or fashion. You know, what man or woman, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But I think the way that it appears that maybe she went about it the wrong way, but at the end of the day, whatever he was making as a spouse, she's entitled to half of that. And I think that what would have made this make the most sense and not be
I
so
agree.
shocking was if there was a
She's entitled to have it as a spouse. That's true. I think it depends. I don't want to say what ifs because I just talked about what ifs, but you know, in certain marriages, some people is like, hey, your money's your money, my money's my money, right? So if she chose to be a stay-at-home wife and like, hey, you're entitled to 50% of my money, she's taking 50% of her 50% and building off of that. That's not even entitled to half of it. Let's just change the way we look at it. We're both entitled to 100% of it. It's not you're entitled to half of it, I'm entitled to half. We're both entitled to 100% of what money is coming into the household. So if you need $1,000 for this specific thing, you know what I'm saying? Boom, you need it. If I need $100,000 or $1,000 for this thing, I need it. Boom. It's not like, oh, I just need 50. I'm entitled to 50% of that. Now I just got to figure out how to get the other 50%. Or now I got to beg you for the other 50%. No, y'all just got to work in your finances together. And I'm not married. I don't really know much about marriage, so.
simple conversation. Okay, you make X amount of dollars. Legally, I'm entitled to half. Let's figure out what we're, you know.
Is it well? Okay, I don't want to sound crazy because I'm still young. I'm only 21, so legally you're entitled to have when you're in a divorce, right? But are you legally entitled to have when you're in the marriage? And in most divorces, you're not even entitled to have half of it. That's only in certain states you're entitled to have it, right? Where it's like, I know that dude Gary Owen was talking about how his wife filed divorce in California where it's automatically 50-50. But in some states, it's not like that. So are we all just going to go based off of the 50-50 rule?
If I'm entitled to half, we're going to take half from you, half from me. This is going to go to savings. This is going to go to investments. This is going to go to whatever, you know. And I think where they went wrong is simply not having the conversation because, I guess if he's a good dude, he would have been like, yeah, you should have some money on the side for whatever. So.
But I think that the fact that he
She's
told her
not.
not to go back to work and he didn't want her to work was the fact that like she was basically a kept woman. They didn't have kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like the escape plan, she had this plan all along. It was never based on love.
No, it was her
Let him finish talking, bro. I wanted to hear. I feel like he has some more to say, and they just cut him off.
her fucked up ass mother, right? And that's the problem. Women take advice from battered women and ruin their relationships.
I'll agree.
And some of those women is your sister. Some of those women are
Your friends.
Are your sisters. Some of the sisters. Some of those women are your parent or parents.
I think that's the origin of the problem, or that was the bud. It was her mom, but then she still chose to do that. Like, you're 10 years older than this man. He's 37. You're like 47. You've been on this earth for a minute. Like, you're manipulating to a T or to a certain extent at this point to where it's like, you know things that this man don't. You have certain knowledge and view on the world and intellect that this man don't for being, I don't know how old she is. I think they said 47 and 37. It doesn't matter. But you know stuff. So if he was 37 8 years ago, he was 29. He was 39. That is a significant difference. That's significant difference. 10 years is a significant difference, right? You chose to do that. At the age of 29, your mom said, having escape money. And you said, oh yeah, most definitely. You're damn near 30. Your mom is in her 50s probably. And you chose to do that. So yes,
your best-
you can have a problem with the mom, but she is worse because she chose to do that.
Friends. And when you have a woman give a woman who may be battered and or uneducated on how marriage works or a relationship dynamic works, and they give you advice, they put you in a position where your back's going to be against the wall in a situation that you probably didn't want to do. And ultimately a failed relationship, whether it be a marriage or whatever. And that's exactly what happened. Her mother got involved and said, hey, you should have an escape plan. Although there was no signs of, any like,
Foul play.
I'm sorry,
See,
financial, not just financial threat, but like separation.
Yeah.
Like, she said that he was a good guy. He was never violent, et cetera, et cetera. She was an advocate for him first. And her mom said, hey, well, you should always have an escape plan no matter what, which means that in her mind, she was never thinking about this. So now it's a woman putting another bug in her ear, and then she decided to do it. And I agree wholeheartedly with you. It had nothing to do. See, men, we really operate most times on a principle level. It has nothing to do with the fact that you had the money and you saved the money. It had everything to do that you had the money. It was your quote unquote escape plan. I never knew about it, and you've watched me struggle working 2 jobs and door dashing on the off days. So I never have an off day for however long this transpired, if it was 6 months or a year. And then when I said, hey, you know what? I'm willing to still sacrifice myself for you. Let's just downsize so I can afford it and I don't have to kill myself in the process. She refuses to downsize and says, I will go ahead and get a part-time job. Him knowing how much the
way he's wording it sounds even worse. I'm not trying to downsize my lifestyle to make your life easier. I would rather you keep doing the stress that you're doing I'm 47, you're 37. I'd rather you keep up with your stress so I can keep my lifestyle and I'll just add a part-time job to my resume. She sounds awful. Straight awful. And what he said that I agree with is he said men operate on a principle level. Like, I'm not tripping that you're saving money. I'm tripping that your intentions and the principle on why you did it. Because I feel like I'm like that too, where I operate on principle. Like somebody would do something and somebody be like, oh, it's not that big. It's just okay. It's this. No, it's the principle of why you did it.
expenses, I guess, are to upkeep the home that they live in, said it's not going to be enough money. And then she wants to reveal when she got caught. And that's what makes a man never trust you ever again. And once that man never trusts you, especially when it comes to a money situation, when he feels like you've been hiding money, you would never be able to win that man back again.
What if she gives you the money?
few things. It wasn't hidden.
One thing, it was hidden because he didn't know. If it wasn't hidden and it was clear, he would have knew and it would have been nipped in the bud a long time ago. That's just my opinion. And then principle, what do you say?
Never be able to win that man back again.
What if she
What if
gives you the money?
What if she gives you the money? You still did what you did out of ill intent. To have an escape plan to leave me, like, hey, I'm saving up this money just in case I gotta leave you. That's ill intentions, because that means you have a thought or a potential thing in your mind saying that we would not be together in the future. You can't be forgiven for that. Even if you did give me that 50,000, even if it was 100,000, I'm not I forgive you, yes, but I'm leaving.
Few things. It wasn't hidden. The money was never hidden.
But he didn't know about it.
Yeah, but he did find out about it by going through it.
Yeah, I mean, he
That's
could have
hidden.
always
Could've
checked
always
all
done
those
that.
years. He could have always checked.
She was taking the money out without telling him.
No, that is what we call willful ignorance.
How is that not hidden? Like, let me look at this finances. Where is this money going to? I have 47,000 in savings. That's hidden, because if the savings was there, if she I could be tripping. Y'all can let me know in the comments. I am not ignorant. I like being told if I'm wrong. But if he's looking through, we're trying to downsize. No, that's not an option. Okay, let's see where we could cut back on. There's $750 leaving the account here and there. Where is this money going to? And then she tells him, because if he's seen it there, he could have been like, oh, look, there's $47,000 here in savings. No, he said, where is this money going to? Which means he didn't see the savings account. And then she said, I have this money in savings. That means it was hidden.
Like, at the end of the day, I don't know shit about how much my Con Ed bill is. But if I want to,
You can go check.
I can go check. I don't even know the total amount of our mortgage. But if I want to, I can go check. That's willful ignorance. That's not even that's not on her. That's on him.
That's on her.
Because if you making that much money and you have no accounting of it, then really it just don't matter to you.
That's not, no, Lord help, she's not thinking at all on what is being done. Because if he's making 150,000 a year, around there, because they said mid 6 figures, if he's making around 150,000 a year or more than that, mid 6 figures is such a broad thing. I don't even know what that could be. That could be 300,000. It don't even matter. If he's making mid 6 figures, right? Even if he did see that money, he might not question it, because she could be using, if she's a stay-at-home wife, she could be spending money on anything, right? So if I'm making even 100,000 a year, 200,000 a year, and I see $1,000 going out every here and there, and I know the only person that has access to it is my wife, I'm not going to really question it too much, because I'm like, she might need something that's doing that. That's not me being ignorant or willful ignorant. That's just me having trust in my wife that she could be spending money on this. She could be having her, like you said, her extracurricular days where she'd be going to the spa and whatever and having fun, because you don't want her stuck at home, because then she's not going to have no life. I'm not going to question it. But the fact that I don't see her savings account is what makes it hidden. And then you tell me the ill intentions behind what you're doing is what makes it worse.
And that's fine. But that's a risk you take. You
Is that
have
willful ignorance? Did I describe it? I don't know. Y'all let me know.
to understand that if you're not looking at your finances, anything could be going on with it.
So basically, don't marry a thieving woman.
She's not.
She's a fucking
stealing.
thief,
That's a
bro.
thief. It was a
joint
He's
account.
married to the woman, and she's pulling money out.
It was a joint account.
No,
It was
he
a joint
married,
account.
bro. He married a woman and said, "I trust you with the finances. Don't worry about shit. I'ma work. I'ma trust you with the finances. So if I put my trust in you to make sure that you keep the finances and you pulling money out on the low for years, you're fucking stealing."
It's not stealing.
There's a lot of smart women out there. There's a lot of caring, loving women out there. This one in the blue right here earlier said she's stealing and she's a thief. And now she's saying, it seems like she's trying to say they're not thieves. That's stealing. That's not borderline stealing. That's stealing. That's thieving. It's a joint account. Yes. You can spend money on the joint account. Yes. But you're stealing. You're taking money and using it for ill intentions without nobody knowing besides you and probably your mom. That's stealing, because it's 50% or it's 100% my money, 100% yours. But you're taking some of it and trying to make it only 100% yours. If y'all understand what I said earlier, that would make sense. That's a thief.
It's stealing.
I
No,
think
no,
the
well,
trust
that's
is
the wrong
stealing.
word.
Because I trust you not to do it.
Not stealing.
I trust you to maintain the finances and put them where they belong. Not for you to duck them off in an escape account.
It's not stealing.
Well, yeah, just to be like
She's
accurate.
entitled to half
She
of what
is.
he brings in.
Okay, but
She's entitled to 100% of it. He's entitled to 100% of it. That doesn't mean. See, look, she's thinking I'm gonna walk away with this thought. She's thinking of in a divorce manner, to where if we get divorced, I get 50%. You are married. That does not mean if I make 100,000, you get to take 50 of it and put it to yourself. No, we both get 100,000 out of the 100,000, and we work to build on that 100,000. That does not mean you get to take 50,000 of it, use it for whatever yourself, and now I gotta use my quote unquote my 50% of the 100,000 to 50,000 and then buy and pay for bills and your lifestyle and your luxury. That's not fair. That is not how a marriage works. She has a ring on her finger too.
Wouldn't that be her fun then? She didn't need an escape account.
I was about to say, okay, so that is,
part of it.
I feel like where she's going wrong.
Said escape account
Yeah.
negates the fact that she's married and she's going to get half anyway. I think the fact that she's labeling it an escape account is, I think that's the shady part. She could have said rainy day. She didn't
No,
say-
it did say rainy day.
no, not to him.
but
No, it
I
said
think
rainy
that-
day
I think
and
either
or
way-
cell phone. It said both. But I want to point this out. At the end of the day, you were saying you're blaming.
Okay. Let's say she did intend to use it for a quote unquote rainy day. He got into a accident at work, got hurt, had to recover, and y'all lost a lot of money. And you said y'all lost a lot of money in your savings. Whose savings? If you still have your 47,000 from savings, whose savings was y'all losing during that lawsuit y'all lost? Oh, it was his savings. Let me guess. It was his. Now that y'all lost money, it's his money. That doesn't make sense. So then if y'all lost a lot of money during your savings and y'all lost a lawsuit, it's not even a rainy day. It's fucking hailing. It's storming. He can't work. He's injured. He's recovering. And y'all lost a lawsuit. How much rain do you need to then be like, it's raining outside? It's thundering. A tsunami is coming, and you telling me you continue to keep your quote unquote 50%? Why is it the two dudes? There's 5 people, and why is the 2 dudes on this podcast the only ones being reasonable and logical? It makes sense. And they're literally justifying behaviors because they're not holding her 100% accountable for what she did wrong. She stole money. That is stealing. And these women on the podcast need to really hold people accountable. And that's what people do. They sugarcoat stuff. And here's the thing. if I have a problem with something, I don't want you to tell me 100 reasons why that problem is okay and justified. I want y'all to acknowledge the problem and then hold somebody accountable. That's simple.
Blaming friends and mothers and this, that, and the other. At the end of the day,
The marriage is
it's not on them.
Exactly.
It's on her.
Right.
She took that information and did what she wanted to do. It has nothing to do with
And
her
she
mom
stole.
or sisters or whoever given information that you may deem as bad.
Because
That
she
was
could have
her
easily
decision.
said, Mom, mind your business.
Or she could have said, I appreciate you.
Exactly.
You know,
Some people don't
And
make
imagine
decisions
being with a
from-
woman-
So look. Although yes, there is a level of accountability for the person who does make the decision when they are ultimately the only one in control of that decision. I agree. However, there is a level of influence, and if you are under the influence and you do make a poor decision, then that person who influenced you is part to blame, not whole,
Part to
but
blame.
part to blame.
Yes.
And literally, like the way I look at both of it is like the mother's a co-conspirator.
I said that too. She is part of the blame. Even if it's 5%, 10%, she deserves some blame for putting that in somebody's ear, because this person didn't think of that. They wasn't going to do that, and they put it in their ear and they decided to do that. That's crazy. I'm really disappointed in the 3 women on this podcast where they're giving reasons on why basically she did it and how it's okay that it's 50%. It's not 50%. Y'all let me know in the comments how y'all feel about what they're saying. Let me know how y'all feel about what I'm saying. Again, I'm only 21 years old, so I feel like I have a decent opinion and a decent thought process, but again, y'all can judge me if y'all want to, and I'll listen and give y'all my 2 cents. But if y'all enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Peace and love to y'all.